the first thing that I wanted to understand is what shaped you into this perfectionist artist that you are today?
Oh, I don't know. I was just trying my best. That's all. I didn't go to film school, so I didn't have the benefit of learning, in a organized way. But for me, the learning of cinema happened almost like a gurukul,
Okay.
because it happened in my house while I was growing up. Because my father was a producer and my uncle was a director and a producer.
Hmm.
So we had films being made around us. And as a kid, you start absorbing things. Plus, I used to love stories. I was a kid who loved listening to stories. So wherever I could get a story from. So whether it was the cook, Naseem B, who we used to sit with after she finished cooking, and we used to sit in the kitchen and tell her कि कुछ कहानी सुनाई है. So she would tell us some stories of Sheikh Chilli. Half of them she would make up on the spot because every day she had to tell a story.
Okay.
So she had to keep making things up. There used to be a radio program called Hawa Mahal. Tang, tadang, tang, 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 tang. You remember this Hawa Mahal?
No, sir.
Oh, acha, हाँ. So Hawa Mahal is like a radio skit, it's like a play, but it's only audio. अरे सुनती हो ऐसे करके वो आवाज आती है, so so I used to love listening to stories basically. And because my father was a producer, there used to be a lot of writers, directors who would come and pitch stories to my father. Sometimes they would be just ideas or concepts. Sometimes they would be fully developed scripts, sometimes in between. So at a very young age, I got interested in listening to stories. So I mean, since I loved listening to stories at a very young age, I used to sit in on the story narrations that my father used to listen to. My father was a very strict person, so I wasn't sure whether he would appreciate me being a part of this exercise. So I used to hide behind the curtain and I used to listen to the stories from the age of 6, I think, 6 or 7. And or thereabouts, must be 6, 7 years old. Maybe 8. I don't know the exact time, but around that time, around 5, 6 to 8. And I started listening to stories, and I kept every story that my father would listen to, I would listen to. Most of them, not all of them, because sometimes I would be in school and all that, but a lot of stories that he heard, I heard. So from the age of 6 or 7 till the age of 16, 17, I heard almost every story that my father did. And I realized today, that time I didn't know what I was picking up and learning. But today when I look back, I realized that was my training period, It's not just stories, it was also the films that my father and uncle were making. Because we would see the films being made in front of us, discussions happening, music sessions happening. I remember Bhappi Leri used to come to our house. My father was the producer who worked with Bhappi ji when at the very start of his career, when he had come here from Calcutta with his parents.
Okay.
So I remember in our hall, Bhapita would be sitting and his father would be playing the tabla. And so left, right, his parents used to sit right behind him. Very supportive of him.
Okay.
And he must have been 18, 20, but young. He was very young, yeah. Early 20s maybe, very young. And so they would create the songs there and the lyric writers would be there. So we saw the process of filmmaking right before our eyes. You see a film with 4 reels ready. You see a film that's 8 reels ready. And so of course the film is not shot in sequence. So you would have gaps in the middle. Abhi climax shoot nahi hua hai, abhi beech ka kuch shoot nahi hua hai. So you see a film coming together, So I think today when I look back, I realized that was my learning ground. That was my school, So I kind of grew up in a gurukul kind of a training. Unintentional, I would say. Not planned. But that's how it happened for me. So by the time I was 17 or 18, I made my first film.
Okay.
It's a short film called The Open Window. It was a short story by H.H. Monroe, also known as Saki. And it's called The Open Window. I really liked that story. It was a short story, 20 minutes. And I adapted it into Hindi. And I wrote it and wrote the adaptation with the dialogues. And then I shot it. Unfortunately, that film I've lost that film. It's gone somewhere in the... कहीं गुम गई वो. So, And that is before I became an assistant director. I became an assistant with my uncle at the age of 18. So before I started working with him, I'd already shot my first film. And then I worked with my uncle for 4 years. So this was my learning phase, till the age of 21, 22. Yeah.
Hi guys, if you loved watching this clip and if you want to do a deep dive into the podcast, we've mentioned the link in the description. So click that link, watch that podcast and take notes. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more clips.